Construction is underway on a new crisis center in Spokane. This morning, we get a look at the first of its kind facility in Washington state.
Super spreaders. As more cases of coronavirus impact the Trump administration, there are rising concerns. We learn from experts about how the spread of the virus accelerates fast without warning.
More 70s this week in our forecast, but it doesn't stay here forever as I'm starting to track some rain eventually moving back into the inland northwest.
Well, this morning we are exploring some of the most bizarre laws of the Pacific Northwest. Coming up, we'll tell you where not smiling can land you in jail.
Up with KREM starts right now with Jen York, Joshua Robinson, and Dana Marie McNichol.
Well, good morning. Thank you for joining us here on Up with KREM. Take a look at your screen. We've got a time-lapse video of how fast smoke can move in and out across the Northwest. The National Weather Service tweeted this out last night, showing the smoke from prescribed burning. They also said that some of the smoke that you might see making its way to the Lewiston area and in Pullman by this morning.
So we did want to take a quick look at the air quality this morning across the Palouse. In Lewiston, it is listed at 57 in the moderate range. And this morning in Pullman, it's listed at 42, which is in the good range.
I think we're a little, hesitant after a couple weeks ago we had all that air quality stuff. But of course, this morning we do want to bring in our own weather expert, Thomas Patrick, to fill us in on what else we need to know about conditions like this. Good morning, Thomas.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Yeah, don't be too worried about any kind of smoke. It was just a prescribed burn. And usually when we see that, they do take air quality into consideration. So yeah, I dropped into the moderate, but it's not going to be anything worse than that. Definitely nothing like what we had, 3 weeks ago now. Kind of want to forget all about when the air quality got into that hazardous range. Look at this. You can see just the little shades of the sunrise just starting to come into play. Sunrise just less than an hour from now. So it's the first light of dawn just starting to pop up over the 6 o'clock hour. It's 53 out at the airport. Our outdoor weather center reporting 50 degrees at this moment. Here are temperatures across the region. 50s at 6 o'clock in the morning in October is certainly quite mild, so to speak, but Deer Park running a little bit cooler at 39 at this moment. Once we do get to sunrise in just about an hour's time, it's just going to stay sunny basically all day long again, because that's been the norm the last several days here, just like this past weekend and most of last week. Most of this week is going to be really nice. We're in the upper 70s for this afternoon as you look at the hour-by-hour forecast there. And the fall colors have been just fantastic so far, and we're only just getting started. Most of the region still just reporting partial to maybe close to near peak for areas in North Idaho, which is actually a little bit behind schedule because of the warm days. I think our fall colors might be maybe a couple days to a week later than normal, but hey, if we can enjoy some 70-degree weather and fall colors at the same time, I don't think you're going to get any complaints from me.
All right, Thomas, thank you so much. 6:03 now. Well, this morning, President Trump is back in the White House. He's also still receiving treatments for coronavirus. Yesterday, the president tweeted he feels better than he did 20 years ago.
We're going back to work. We're going to be out front. As your leader, I had to do that. I knew there's danger to it, but I had to do it. I stood out front. I led. Nobody that's a leader.
Now, doctors say President Trump is showing signs of improvement. Now, tomorrow, Vice President Mike Pence and Kamala Harris are expected to meet for their first and only debate. They will be separated by plexiglass on the debate stage in Salt Lake City. It was a request from the Biden-Harris campaign, and the Commission of Presidential Debates agreed to it. Now, both Harris and Pence tested negative for coronavirus since the president's diagnosis. Also, tomorrow, Washington Governor Jay Inslee will debate challenger Loren Culp. It will follow the vice presidential debate. You can watch that debate live on KREM 2 starting at 8 p.m. Now, Culp is from Republic. He is a self-declared law and order candidate. Governor Inslee has held the office since 2013, and both candidates will participate in social distancing during that debate. The candidates will be in the same building but in different rooms. The state's health and economic response to the pandemic is expected to be a big topic. Our sister station in Seattle is helping moderate that debate. And again, you can watch it tomorrow on KREM 2 at 8 p.m. Closer to home now, this morning, organizers hope a new facility in Spokane will decrease arrests in our city and act as a new way to serve the community. Dana Marie McNichol is joining us live this morning on West Gardner Avenue, where construction is already underway on Washington's first ever mental health crisis facility. Good morning.
Good morning. That's right. This is Washington's first facility of this kind, and it's happening here in Spokane, projected to open next summer. Now, it does give first responders a place to bring someone who is in a mental health crisis, and the city is calling this a jail diversion program, meaning that it's creating a safe middle ground for people who are picked up by officers and are in desperate need of mental health services or substance abuse health. The facility has resources including therapists and substance abuse services, and we first told you about this project when it started last week. We're learning more about the project from the city leaders.
It means that we're more efficient with how we deploy our police officers, our law enforcement officers, and it's a more compassionate way of how do we deliver services to those that are in need of help. This is transformative because a significant part of our jail population are folks that are suffering from either substance abuse or mental health, and now we've got an alternative, a diversion for them. Hopefully this will be the model for other counties in the state to follow.
Well, the new project will cost $9.1 million. $1.5 million will come from the county. Another $1.1 is from the city, and the rest is being funded by the state. Now, this new facility, the first of its kind here in the state in Spokane, is expected to open June 2021. And of course, we're going to be updating you here on Up with KREM with any other new developments and services that are provided. Reporting in downtown Spokane, I'm Dana Marie McNichol.
All right, Dana Marie, thank you so much. Time now for your morning rush. More news in less time.
Spokane police say they have arrested a man in a near-fatal stabbing near the Bing Crosby Theater downtown. Police say the surveillance video from the scene helped them identify the suspect as 37-year-old Patrick Page. Officers arrested him several blocks away from the scene. He is charged with first-degree assault. The victim is in stable condition. Page is well known to police. As officers tell us, he has 26 convictions on his record, including 14 felonies and 12 misdemeanors.
Well, this morning, experts say a coronavirus outbreak is growing at the University of Washington. They say it's mostly impacting fraternities and sororities. The school reports 163 students tested positive, and this is part of a second major spike in cases tied to the school, the first one being back in July.
Coeur d'Alene Memorial Gardens announced that they would be removing all tributes from the graves for Veterans Day and before snow falls. But for families with people memorialized at the site, they say it felt wrong. The mother of two sons with gravestones tells us she was upset with the new rule. Her sons Greg and Jeff are both cremated and their urns sit on top of their gravestones.
Even the urns were gone. Why would we come here? We know their dad isn't here. Her sons.
After facing hundreds of angry commenters and phone calls, cemetery officials have agreed to make some changes, but they would like people to remove the tributes themselves. Spokane's annual Pride March will be virtual this year on October 17th. Event organizers are encouraging participants to submit photos or up to 30-second videos of them and their community expressing their pride. The event will also include speakers, grand marshals, and music. The annual Pride Parade and Festival typically draws in thousands of participants to downtown Spokane. Last year, organizers did expect about 20,000 people to join the annual celebration.
Well, that is your morning rush. More news in less time. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag #UpWithKREM on social media.
Coming up on 6:09 now here on Up with KREM, let's take a look at what's trending. The election cycle always brings a lot of conversation about state and federal laws, but this morning we want to look at some of the more outlandish laws that we can find right here in the Northwest. First, let's start with Washington. Did you know it's illegal to poach a Sasquatch in 2 counties? Back in 1991, Whatcom County declared its roughly 1 million acres of land as official Sasquatch protection and refuge area. So that gave the nation its first Bigfoot sanctuary, according to National Geographic. The idea is if Bigfoot does exist, lawmakers reasoned it would be an endangered species and therefore in need of protection. So for this reason, Skamania County has also considered Bigfoot poaching a felony. Since 1969, it's still punishable by a $1,000 fine. Second, our neighbors to the south. In Oregon, it is considered a speed racing offense if you participate in any test of physical endurance while you're on the highway, according to the state. And I want to give credit to our producer, Cody, for figuring out that this means you basically cannot work the steering wheel with your teeth. And number 3, in Pocatello in southern Idaho, it was once named the Smile Capital of the United States. According to one city ordinance, it is illegal to frown, grimace, scowl, or have any other facial expression that reflects unfavorably upon the residents. Back in 1948, the area experienced a really difficult winter with 13 consecutive weeks of snowstorms, high winds, and below freezing temperatures. At that time, spirits of the people were so understandably dampened that in an attempt to revive happiness, the mayor passed a tongue-in-cheek ordinance making it a crime not to smile within the city limits of Pocatello. I love that law. Now, according to that law, by the way, if you're convicted, felons, yes, felons, were required to go to the nearest smileage station and surrender a sufficient amount of smiles or grins to match their offense. Why don't we have laws like this anymore?
Because you can't tell women they have to smile. That's why.
Thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
sure that
No,
one got
great.
the axe pretty quick.
Absolutely, 100%.
But I like the Sasquatch law.
Oh, yeah.
You got to protect Sassy. I mean, he's like our little Northwest treasure.
I do love that there is a law in place too to make sure there's not someone driving in the lane next to me with their teeth in Oregon. Great.
Okay, doesn't it make you concerned about why they had to create that law? Like what happened for them to actually put that on the books?
Jen, I'm very concerned about that.
I'm very concerned as well.
Yeah.
We had to do some more research and see what led up to that.
Good stuff. Love it. This morning, we're also taking a look at some of your most asked questions about local COVID-19 cases in Spokane County. What kinds of answers the data can give us today by the numbers.